Hey guys, and welcome to How They Could Do It. This is a series where I talk about my theories, thoughts and methods of how companies could create our favourite video games, films and TV. And I am your host, Shikari Ferrari. And in this video, I'll be talking about my thoughts on Season 2 of Better Call Saul and my ideas for Season 3. So if you check it out, thanks very much and I hope you enjoy. I thought there was quite a bit of good stuff in Season 2. Obviously the main one is seeing Jimmy slowly turning more into Saul. We got a little bit of that towards the end of the first season with the money. And in this season we just see a whole lot more. We see his clever plans, his ideas, talking out of situations, and of course the big one is him helping out Kim by forging false documents. So yeah, I really enjoyed that, just a little sprinkles here and there, and of course as the series goes on we're just going to see more and more of it, so I'm really looking forward to that. By far some of the best bits for the season is with Mike. He's as good as always, still showing how much of a badass he is. His headbutting with Hector and Nacho, even though they're working together for most of the season. So again, I'm really looking forward to what's going to happen with him next. I enjoyed more Chuck and Jimmy scenes in this season than in Season 1. I think it's because Chuck's been more active now in this show and not just confined to the house. So with their scenes we see more background information in some of the flashbacks, and just the clashes of personality, and with Chuck slowly going back to work for the firm, and now becoming quite a threat actually now to Jimmy, now that the season's ended, the way it has. So yeah, the start of Season 3 is going to be very interesting. And another thing I could think of, Kim and Jimmy's scenes with their relationship and how it's developing, and their idea now to do law firms and work together. So yeah, there was a lot of good bits about the Season 2, so probably not as good as the first season for me, but still very enjoyable. So the stuff I wasn't too keen on, but it is mainly just nitpicks, as I've said in the title. I just find the HHM and other law firm scenes just so boring, but I do understand that is the nature of the show, and Jimmy has to go through the changes to become Saul, so he has to do to be straight and true. But it doesn't really work half the time, so his way is better basically, that he thinks. So I'm mainly invested in the show for that turning point. But yeah, it's the scenes that I'm glad when they're over, because maybe it's just because I don't like lawyers or something, but yeah, it drags on a little bit, and it's clients and stuff like that. And I mean, probably one of the good things, which can be turned into maybe something that I liked, is that one bit with the two clients. Obviously that is a major story plot point where Jimmy does that action, which is very Saul-like. So maybe that's the one good thing. But the rest of it, yeah, I was glad to get it over and done with, and on to the next scene with Michael, with Jimmy and Chuck. And yeah, so for me those kind of scenes I just felt were just really dry and really hard to get through. And my last thing, which I think is definitely a nitpick, which is I thought Tuco was kind of brought out of it a little bit earlier. I wanted to see a little bit more episodes with him in it, but obviously Hector comes in after that, so which he's great as well. He's very menacing. So I just thought I wanted to see a little bit of his madness, really, because even like in Breaking Bad, Walter's scared of him, and Jesse, he's a bit of a maniac. So just a little bit more of that, but I'm sure he is going to come back with Hector as well. And like I said, I really enjoyed him as well. Why didn't I mention this in my good section? I'm terrible. But yeah, Hector's good, and obviously the twins we see from Breaking Bad. So yeah, really threatening, and looking forward to that as well. My overall thoughts is I definitely give it a recommendation. If you enjoyed Season 1, I'm sure you're going to enjoy this season. Towards the end of the season, it definitely sets a lot of things up. So you got the Jimmy and Chuck thing that's going to happen, and I think Mike's storyline is going to get a whole lot better next season. So yeah, go watch it. I'm sure you won't be disappointed. So here's my ideas for Season 3 and what I think is going to happen. So the beginning of the season is going to be Jimmy finding out Chuck knows that he did forge those documents, either by finding the tape recorder or just by the suit that's going to happen, pitting brother against brother. And I'm really trying to think of a legitimate way Jimmy could get out of this, but nothing comes to mind. So I think he is going to do something big, maybe around the halfway point of this season, that is going to push him even more into becoming Saul. yeah, doing something that is so big that is basically it's the point of no return once he does it, and he has to leave his life as Jimmy behind. And another thing that lingers in my mind is what is actually going to happen with Chuck and with Kim and Nacho and everyone else we see, and even HHM, as they're not even mentioned once in Breaking Bad. Could Chuck kick the bucket, or even worse, could the thing that is the point of no return for Jimmy be that he has an involvement in his death, like an accident, like in the printing scene we see in this season? But I'm not too sure on that. I mean, I think if Jimmy had someone kill him, or he kills him, I think that would be something that's way too far for his character. As I think in Breaking Bad, poisoning Brock, I think is the worst thing that he has done, and he had to do it. So, yeah, I don't think he would go that far. With Kim, I think the most likely outcome is that she's just going to cut ties with him completely and basically never contact him again once he does the thing that he's going to do. Because all these characters and organisations and everything that's basically mentioned in Better Call Saul all has to fizzle out before Breaking Bad starts. So it's going to be interesting what they come up with. Like this season, I do think Mike's storyline is going to be some of the best parts we're going to see next season. And will Gus make an appearance of some sort, as there is an Easter egg in the titles of Season 2 that spells out Fring's back? And was he the one that was making the horn go off in Mike's car at the end of the season? Or was it just a lackey who works for him? So I would think Mike would be met by a guy who works for Gus, or maybe Gus himself turns up. But I think first of all it probably would be someone who works for him, as he's a behind the scenes kind of guy, and like Walter White, see what kind of person he is first before approaching him, so sending someone else to do the work for him. And then asking why he's after Hector, and then they could help each other out, and then after dealing with him, do future business. And then that sets up the link for Mike and Gus and answers the question of how they met. As with Hector being fully operational, as it were, he's got to get paralysed at some point, and it does seem that Gus is the one to do that from the signs it shows in Breaking Bad. So maybe like a firefight exchange or an explosion that's been set up by Gus and Mike in one of his buildings that causes it, who knows. Other plot details, the relationship with Jimmy and Kim. I reckon Kim is either going to try to help Jimmy or stay out of the situation with Chuck and the suit that will be incoming in this season. But as she is tied to it, I would think that she'd be caught in it somehow, or maybe Chuck's just so fed up and angry that he would drag her into it to punish Jimmy. And whether or not in this season that Jimmy is going to do the unspeakable and become Saul, it's going to push that relationship to the limit, I think. Again, something big's going to happen, and I think these two are going to get torn apart somehow. With HHM, they're just going to be helping Chuck out to bring down Jimmy, as they've been damaged as much as he has, his reputation and everything. So I'm pretty sure they'll be out for revenge and just any way to tear down Jimmy and make sure he's basically never going to be a lawyer again. And that's pretty much it for this video. My thoughts in Season 2 and ideas for Season 3. Let me know your ideas for Season 3, what you want to see, what might happen, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed. Leave a like, comment and subscribe if you guys want, and I'll see you guys in the next one.